What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another episode of the Ramblin' Mind Podcast. How are each and every single one of y'all doing today? I hope y'all are staying safe. I hope y'all are staying clean and kept and all the things we know we ought to be doing during these times. I don't know why I got confused. I was trying to say, I hope y'all are doing all the things you know to take care of yourselves. Wearing your mask, washing your hands, staying away from people because coronavirus is still a real thing out in these streets, my friend. Please stay safe out there. Please stay safe. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Watch out for those around you. Maybe don't go partying just yet. But then again, who am I to tell anybody what to do? Because everybody's just like, I'm tired of being home. I'm tired of staying at home just by myself. I need to go out and, do stuff. I'm tired of being locked up. But, we thank God that cases are coming down, which is great. The vaccine is being distributed. A lot of people are getting the vaccine, and the vaccine is actually very effective. So that is all great news. But anyway, today, as you guys know, is Tuesday. I don't know why I have to tell you what day it is. Or maybe you're not listening to this on Tuesday and you're listening to this another day. But regardless, every Tuesday we like to talk about personal finance and investing. And on Thursdays, we like to talk about the business news. And we love to talk all things money on this podcast. Sometimes we stray away from the topic because, as the title of the podcast says, it's the Ramblin' Mind Podcast, baby. Your boy is just all over the place sometimes. But anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to invest. And I'm going to take you through step by step exactly how to invest in the stock market, exactly what you need to do to get started investing. I've gotten this question a lot, and although I can give snippets here and there, I just wanted to finally make one episode that is like, hey, if you want to know how to invest step by step, just go watch this episode or go listen to this episode, and I literally will tell you every single thing you need to do in order to start investing. However, there's some other things that you need to take care of before you even think about investing, but we'll get to that in a second. This episode is literally going to get you from having no idea what to do, but then how to open the account that you'll be using to invest, and then also what to invest in for a lot of people who are just starting out. I also have ideas of things that you should be investing in. If you have no idea what you're doing, you don't even know what to look for, there is one thing that every single person, and I'm pretty sure if people have listened to me before, they know exactly what that thing will be. But anyway, let's get started with this. Like I said earlier, before you even think about investing, there are certain things that you need to take care of first of all, and that is your personal finance. You need to handle your personal finance. Before you even think about investing money in the stock market, you have to take care of your debt. You have to start having an emergency fund. You have to know how you're managing your money, how you're monitoring your money, how you're working with your finances. Because as important as it is to invest, because I'm always going to talk about invest, because that's how you buy your time back. That's how you buy your freedom back, at least when it comes to working every single day and all that stuff. You invest so that you can do that. However, on the other side, it's more important for you to handle your finances because, like I tell people, if you are worth $1 million, but you're spending $1 million every single year, you're broke. Because you don't have money left over to invest. I said worth. I mean, if you make $1 million and you're spending $1 million, you have nothing left to invest. And so therefore you have nothing to show for it. You're broke. However, if you only make $50,000 a year and you're able to save $10,000 every single year, you're rich. You're rich. It's very important that we handle these things. And there's 3 steps that every single person, whenever you want to start thinking about your money, whenever you want to start thinking about your finances, the first step is put $1,000 into some kind of savings account, like immediately. If you can, just start with $500, then increase that to $1,000 so that every time you have some kind of emergency, because like I said in the last episode or 2 episodes again, Murphy sucks. Murphy is a dick and he shows up at the worst times. He doesn't like showing up when you're prepared and when you're ready and when you're like, yeah, I'm ready for you, Murphy. No. That's not when he's going to show up. When Murphy is going to show up is when you already have no money in your bank account, and then all of a sudden you have a flat tire, then the AC in your house goes out, then the fridge in your house goes out, then the water heater goes out, maybe, and if you're renting, it's basically your car, you have issues with your car, or, that kind of stuff where random things just start happening out of nowhere, and you're already at the last point, at the final point, where you're like, yo, I don't know what to do, like, this is too much. So that's why we need to start with at least having $1,000 saved in some account, in some savings account. I recommend opening an account like Ally Ally Bank, I really like them. Not sponsored, unfortunately. I also like other accounts like One Finance that I just found. It's pretty good. Marcus by Goldman Sachs is another good one. I don't know. There's a bunch of good savings accounts out there. If you have a T-Mobile account, you can open a T-Mobile account. They give a 4% interest rate, but only if you have a T-Mobile phone and all that good stuff. And even then, there's some other things you have to meet. But basically, just open an account where you can save money, where you can put money away and not have to worry about it. So it's somewhere just sitting in case any kind of thing happens, in case any kind of situation happens to you. You have the money to handle that situation. I also advise maybe open a money market account with Ally. You're basically getting the same interest rate as if you're opening an online savings account. And so I'll say open a money market account with Ally so you can get the card, but do not carry the card. Whichever account you open up, do not carry the card with you is my advice. Do not put it on your PayPal. Do not put it on your Apple Pay. Do not put it on your Google Pay. Do not put it on any of your Cash App, on your Venmo. Don't put it on anything. Don't use it to pay bills. Don't put it on anything because this is for savings alone. This is for emergencies alone. For me personally, I don't like carrying the card with me, but then sometimes if it's in a situation where you're not home, it's good to carry it with you. But don't use it. Like, let it be like so forgotten. You put it in the back of your wallet and you never remember that it's there. So that way it just sits there until you absolutely have to do it. So that's the first thing you need to do, is have an emergency fund that's $1,000 at least. And then step 2 is, if you still have debt, please get rid of that thing as quickly as you can. Please get rid of that thing, because especially when it comes to consumer debt, that's things like credit cards, that's things like auto loans, that's things like furniture loans, that's things like personal loans, that's anything that is a consumerism debt. In other words, you got this debt because you bought an item, not because it was like your student loans or home loan or anything like that, but all these other things that you just use your money to buy because you couldn't afford it, and so you put it on a card, or you put it on layaway, or any of these things. Please get rid of that thing as quickly as you can. The main reason for this is twofold. One, even if we're investing in the stock market, typically the return that we've gotten from the stock market year over year has been about 10%. But average credit card is about 20%, the average credit card interest rate. So look, you can't make that up in the stock market. You will never make that up. And then on the other side, you may be like, oh, well, my interest on my car is only 4%, but it is a depreciating asset. In other words, it's a liability on you. Plus, if you don't pay it off, just think about this. If you don't pay your car off and something happens to that car, guess what? You're not going to get the value that you paid for that car. You're going to get the value of what they deem that car to be right now. In other words, it's going to end up costing you more money. So pay off your car. Get out of those debts, please, because it is costing you so much money. It is hindering you from being able to make the progress that you want to make for yourself. Okay, now that you have those two things settled, third thing that I'm gonna need you to do is, after you've paid off your debt and after you had $1,000 emergency fund, the next step is to have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. Now, this is not to say that you can't do this as you're also saving or investing. Also, while you're paying off debt, you can also be investing. Just know, like, small amounts. It doesn't have, like, your main focus is gonna be the investing, but time is very important when it comes to investing. So even if it's like $10 or $20 or $50 that you can afford to be doing on a monthly basis while you're paying off your debt and everything else, do that. But after you finish paying off your debt, then you have a 3 to 6 months emergency fund account. The reason for this is, again, Murphy is a dick. When you're making progress and you're pushing forward and everything seems to be going well, that's when somebody might show up at your job and be like, yo, by the way, we're gonna have to let you go. Or some medical issue shows up or something like that. Like, you know, life is not fair. But like we say, life is not fair, but God is faithful. Life is tragic, but God is faithful. That's one thing that we can hold on to. Life is tragic, but God is faithful. But anyway, the fact is, we have to do what we can do on our own to ensure that we are taking care of things in front of us, to ensure that we are taking care of the things that we need to be taken care of. But anyway, so after you do these 3 things, step 1, saving at least $1,000 in some account that you don't see. Step 2, paying off all your debt, all your consumer debt to be particular. Step 3, saving 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. And then now we can get to the fun part. Now we can get to the part where we talk about our money working for us while we sleep. Now we can get to the point about financial freedom, about financial literacy, and how we get our money to work for us. In other words, we're no longer working for our money. Now we can put our money to work. It's like this everlasting cycle where as you save more money, your money is making more money for you than you even can fathom. It's crazy for you, which leads me to another point. one thing you will find out very quickly when you're going down this journey is that as much as we can reduce our expenses when we go through our budgets and manage our budget and cut out all the excess in our budget, that doesn't mean you cut out everything. There's still some things that you leave in there because you enjoy to do these things. But there are some things that you will have to cut out because they're just not necessary and they're holding you back. However, you get to the point where, like I like to say, you can only cut out so many expenses before you start to bleed. And then that's when you start focusing on your income side. And you will learn very quickly that if you want to invest more money, you're going to have to find new ways of making more money. For some people, that's going to look very different. For me, that looked like me going out and being a soccer referee, if not for freaking COVID. But either way, I'm not going to hold it against COVID. You know, it is what it is. I became a soccer referee when I had some free time. That can look different for you. Some people open a YouTube channel and try to make that become a side business. Some people take the skills that they learned at work to be able to use it at other contexts. You know, maybe you're a web designer at work. You can go on the open market, and when you have free time during the weekends, to use that to build web pages for people. I know my little brother does that for people because he's a genius when it comes to coding. And so he does that on the side for people. He tries to do all of those little coding projects on the side to help people out. So you can take the skills that you have while you're at work, or the skills that you've developed away from work. Maybe it's public speaking. So you start a podcast and then you get sponsored and all that good stuff. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. It does take a really long time for any of these things to pan out when it comes to creative work on the internet. But there are other things you can do. You can go around. If you're an accountant, maybe do taxes for your friends, do taxes for people around you, be that kind of service to those around you. That's some of the things that you can do on the side to bring in some income. Or maybe you just do basic things, babysitting for people, house sitting for people, dog watching for people. Especially right now when the economy opens back up, there's going to be a lot more people that are leaving their homes and they've just got pets all over the place. So you might be able to dog sit, dog walk, all that kind of stuff. For a lot of people, is a way to bring in some extra bread in your pocket so you can quickly pay off debt, so you can also invest more money in the stock market. I'm not saying that you sacrifice every single thing in your life, but I am saying that there will be some sacrifices that will be needed to be made in order for you to get to the point that you want to be in.